Hey guys, welcome to our second episode. This episode will be talking about our journey before coming to America, maybe the last 6 months to 1 year before coming to America, how life was and what we were doing as we got ready to come here. And then after that, then we'll also share how our experiences were in the first year after we are here in the United States. My name is David Isikah.
And I am Christopher Mwendwa.
And we'll start with Chris. Just if you can share how that journey was, getting ready to come to America. Maybe however deep you want to go. And also, like, very key important, I think, coming to America, for a lot of people is a miracle.
Yes.
It takes a lot.
Yes.
Maybe you can also share in that process where you saw the presence of God active.
Yes.
I think that would be amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, originally I was born in Makueni, Kenya.
Yes.
A very small village.
Yeah.
Called Katolye. If I tell you guys to locate Katolye, you probably won't even find it. It's very remote.
Yes.
Somewhere up in the mountains. And I think that's where also God plays a role. Where I saw the miracle, because you would never expect somebody from that small village who's never even been to the main city to be able to locate to a nation like this.
Yes.
So it started off with my dad. My dad applied for his green card.
Yes.
He was able to win. And he came here in 2002.
Yes.
And I guess there was a period between 2002 until we came in 2008. Where he had to visit and he had to go through the process of getting us here.
Yes.
It's not an easy process.
No, it's not.
No, dealing with the migration is not easy.
Yeah.
So it was a waiting period. I remember I was in boarding school.
Yes.
The name of the boarding school is called Kari Moilo.
Kari Moilo.
Yes, and I was there for a while.
Yes.
And I was waiting. We had visitors who used to come to the school.
Yes.
From America.
Yeah.
And I remember I used to think to myself, should I raise my hand and say my dad is from Michigan? But I remember very well just waiting, and my mom came to America in 2007. So now me and my siblings were left behind.
Yes.
And eventually we came in 2008.
Yes.
But in a period of waiting, you are asking yourself, are we going to go there? Are we going to get to where my parents are? You know, just things running in your mind, and we all know in the period of waiting is the hardest.
It's the hardest,
especially when you're waiting on God.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just around 2008, my dad came back to Kenya.
Yes.
And I remember he asked me a question.
Yeah.
Do you want to remain and finish your KCPE?
Yes.
Or do you want to come with me right now?
Yes.
I was like, I'm going with you right now.
Forget about KCPE.
Forget about that. I don't care about that.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I was able to join my dad, me and my siblings, and my mom here in the United States. Located herself in Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Yes.
Specifically Kentwood.
Yeah.
And we've been here ever since. But I can say that the miracle that I saw through the hand of God is just selecting a family from a small remote village, Katolye, and bringing us here.
Yes.
And also the planes. I remember I was sitting in a waiting area.
Yes.
And they told us, okay, we can board the plane.
Yeah.
And I went in the plane, and I was sitting in the plane.
Yes.
I thought I thought we were waiting.
Yes.
I didn't know we was already in the plane.
Because they have those things that you go through, like tunnel looking like. Yes.
Yeah, so I was like, I'm relocating from one waiting area to a different waiting area. Because the plane takes time before it takes off.
Yes.
It's like, oh, when are we going to get in the plane?
Yes.
Yes, but it was quite an experience, and also even flying in itself, it's a miracle.
It is
because you just look at a plane and how God was able to gift a man with the wisdom to be able to come up with such a unique design to allow people to go from one area of the continent to another.
To another, yes.
In a fast pace. So,
yeah.
I think that's where I saw God in the majestic beauty of the plane flying,
yes.
the clouds,
yeah.
Different time zones,
yes.
And also being able to be selected by God,
yes.
To be removed from a village and to be sent to another, what is considered a great nation.
Yes.
So that's my story in just
in a nutshell.
In a nutshell, yes.
But I'm really curious. You mentioned that you went to a boarding school.
Yes.
But also your dad left for them to come to America.
Yes.
And then later on also mom followed. You guys were left behind.
Yes.
Like, I'm just curious, how was that, like, that time? Was it a struggle, or just the fact that, in Kenya, doing boarding school, you're anyway away from family?
Yes.
Did that help at all? Or, like, it was like...
I think it helped. It
yes.
helped because also I had a cousin that I was boarding. I was in the same boarding school with. And that is having family away from family.
Yeah.
So that kind of helped because I think if I was probably in a day school, I will have a hard time to see my mom just leave.
Right.
My dad was already not here.
Right.
And my mom was already left. So I would have had a hard time to see that. But it helped because, I was in a boarding school.
Yeah.
Already being used to being away from parents.
Yes.
So I think that played a crucial role.
Definitely, definitely. I can see that. Well, that's a beautiful story. And you mentioned something like, it may seem simple, but like, be on a plane and be in the sky.
Yes.
You get an opportunity to look down.
Yes.
And you see the vastness of the earth.
Exactly.
To a degree.
Exactly.
And how like far down it is.
Exactly.
And that's just like, man, there's a bigger, like, this is bigger than us.
Yeah, it is.
Right?
It is. It is complex,
Yes.
The way the world is built,
Yeah.
The way you see the oceans, the Pacific Oceans.
Yes.
The way you see that they have boundaries.
Yes. Yeah.
And even when you read the scripture, God puts a boundary, says, hey, you're not going to pass this.
Yes.
This is your boundary. You see.
For the oceans.
Yeah, for the oceans, yes, and the seas, and
Yeah.
So to be able be in a plane, to be able to see the clouds.
Yes.
To be able, I used to think that once you get into the clouds, and you go farther up, you get to heaven.
Yes. Yeah.
But those are imaginations that children have.
Yes.
But just to be able to see that, the vast, the landscapes, goes to show that, the one who created and laid down the foundations of the world is brilliant.
It's very brilliant.
Very brilliant. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. It's an opportunity that I would love everybody to have, just to be on a plane. Even being a plane is a miracle, because a lot of people in Africa don't get that chance to fly. And also here in America.
Exactly.
Because not everybody in America here is rich.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, my story is, slightly different. I, just because of how I grew up, I ended up being in a children's home.
Yes.
By the name Molly Children's Family.
Yes.
MCF, led by my father, who is called Dr. Charles Molly.
Yes.
My story is wrong, but I'll try. I'll try to shorten it.
Yes.
But before even I get to Molly's, I also from a very small village, small town. It starts with the K again. Yes. Kateki.
That's very interesting. Does the name have a meaning?
I honestly don't know what it means, Kateki. Like, is it like kama kuteka something?
Yes.
In Swahili? I have no idea.
Yes.
I don't know what sometimes we give like the cities like really weird names.
Really strange names.
Because now I have like my village is called Kaseve.
Kaseve.
Yes.
So that means like the wind.
The wind, like a small wind. Yes.
Wow.
It was really interesting.
Yes.
But that's where I grew up in Kateki. That's in Yatta.
Yes.
Yatta Plateau. A lot of people who have learned about geography, they learn about Yatta Plateau. Yeah. Fairly flat, semi-arid.
Yes.
Grew up like raising cattle and goats.
So you're a shepherd.
I was a shepherd.
That explains your name, David.
David.
Yes.
With my single mom. But then, I did really well. I was a brilliant person in school.
Yes.
Always top in my class, or top 3. And so when I graduated from grade 8, I had like 416 marks out of 500.
Wow.
But single moms in Kenya, unemployed, just in a small farm, can't afford to go to a high school.
Yes.
And so there was a pastor who knew my family, and then he connected me to this orphanage. And he talked to my dad, which is Daddy Mole, and he said, "Yeah, come on in." And so this ministry, basically, the Mole Children's Family, they rescue young people from all backgrounds, and even kids.
Yes.
Could be either from a poverty-stricken family, it could be street children, like anybody. They often have a lot of moms, teenage moms that they are helping. And for anybody out there, if you don't know about Mole Children's Family, just Google Mole Children's Family. Mole is M-U-L-L-Y, Children's Family. It will come up.
Now, can I ask you, how old were you when you went to the Mole's children?
I believe I was around 13, around 13.
Yes.
13, 14, yeah.
And when you were that age, did you question why you were going there? Or did you have any...
So I knew the situation in my family. I knew my mom cannot afford taking me to high school, right? But at the same time, I was go to a very good high school.
Yes.
That's a big deal in Kenya, right?
Yes.
And so I knew the situation. So when my mom told me, and the way she delivered the message, she told me, hey, this place, they rescue street children. In Kenya, tunawaita chokora.
Chokora, yes.
So in my stereotypes or my thought about chokora is violent kids. They beat you, they can do all kind of things. Now, so I got really scared.
So what did that make you feel? Like that your mom is telling you that you're going to this home where they rescue street children. Did you feel like you were a street children, or because you understood your situation, you knew that this is just a place to give you an opportunity?
Yeah, I think it was. I knew the situation, and I knew that I only have this option.
Yeah.
Or most likely nothing else.
Yes.
But emotionally, I think it was really, it was hard on me. I remember I actually cried.
Oh my.
I actually did. But before that, I had cried to God.
Yes.
I remember locking myself in a room and just crying and say like, how is it that I can work so hard, like get to where I'm at, get these marks. And I see all these kids going to school who performed less than me.
Yes.
But I'm here stuck.
And you know what is unique about that?
Yes.
You're 13.
Yes.
And you're locking the door behind yourself.
Yes.
And you're crying out to God. That is very unique for a young person.
It is. Yes. Yeah, it was. I totally agree. I totally agree. And I think after that, actually, when I questioned God, that crying, in fact, a week didn't end. And then that's when that pastor came in and said, hey, I know your son did it well, and he's still here. I have talked to this man of God who owns an orphanage, and I would like see if you can consider him going there so at least he can get education.
How did that make you feel when this person approached your family, this pastor?
So, you talked to my mom talked to me. So I think the aspect of living with street children, that scared me.
Yes.
Because I didn't know any better.
Yes.
I did not know any better. Because whenever I go to Matu, which is a bigger city, and the street children there, they always scared me. You are from Kenya too, you understand,
yes.
But the amazing thing is this, that pastor came with his car, and I had an empty school bags. he had almost nothing.
Yeah.
Put in there, he took me there. But the profound thing was, when I got to the gate, I was like, dang, I've never seen a place like this. Like the building, so beautiful. I've never seen any building that beautiful, bro.
Yes.
The trees, the place was like, Inyata is dry, but that place was so many trees. And I was like, what? Is this huku ni kwa wazungu ama ni nini? Right?
Yes.
It was, and then, my mind of the street children, I was thinking like wamevalia vibaya, like dressed like not so good. But when I looked and saw the kids, they were so nicely dressed.
Wow.
In addition to that, they came to the gate and they were telling me, welcome home, and shaking my hand.
Wow.
And they took my belongings, they held me. And it was totally the opposite.
Yes.
Now, in addition to that, when you step to that place, even before, I just felt some sort of love. It's just somewhere, like love in the air.
Yes.
I just felt it somewhere. Wow. I can't tell how, but I could feel love. I could feel like
in your spirit.
Yes, and then it gave me a lot of comfort.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's my journey how I ended up to MCF, and then after that I went through high school.
Yes. So to say this, in the Molly's children place home, there's schools there.
Yes. So they have they start all the way from kindergarten or the lowest of the lowest.
Yes.
And they go all the way up. When I was there, it was all the way to like high school, and then they had a vocational training as well on the side.
Wow. So it's a place that's loaded.
Yes, it's loaded. It's really loaded. And maybe one time we'll do like just one episode specifically about that, and I can go to details.
Absolutely.
But it's an amazing place where I encourage anybody to visit, even us Kenyans.
Yes.
When I was there, I saw a lot of Wazungus coming in.
Yes.
But I think for us as Africans, especially who are here, and because the locals there, they know the place. But us Africans who are here, we need to go and visit.
Yes.
And see that an African has done amazing things for our community. Because they do a lot of farming, they do a lot of community projects and all of that. Farming, people can learn about like farming, like proper ways of farming and all that. So there's a lot, to be learned. Yeah.
And even from Molly, a story that he used to do something before he came to a realization that he needed to open those homes.
Yes.
But I think we'll save that.
Yes. Maybe we'll invite him for him to come and share the story, right?
Absolutely. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
That'd
so
be awesome. Yeah.
that if you can come even share, like get it from the source.
Yes, exactly.
That would be amazing.
Absolutely. So Isikah, tell us about now your process of coming here. I know you shared with me, and I've told you how that made me feel. That brought our bond closer. Because I felt like your story needed to be out here and it needed to be heard. So that people who are in Kenya who are losing hope can know that there's a God in heaven. And that God hears your prayers. It doesn't matter if you're 13.
Right.
It doesn't matter if you're 90.
Yeah,
God hears your prayers.
He does.
Can you take us there?
Absolutely. So I get there and I went through their mentorship program in high school, and when I finished high school, I did well again. I had a B plus. I wished I had a A, but I didn't have a A. I had a B plus, but it was still pretty good. I was still top 3 in my class, and for me that was actually very surprising because when I was in MCF for that period, I didn't think I was doing to my best level, but I knew I had the potential. And then I kind of like started projecting for the KCSE. I have to pass that exam. And so because of my
before you go on, you said you felt like you had the potential. But you're now performing to the highest self. Was there something that was hindering you from getting to that full potential, or is it something that maybe the situation at home, maybe now you're in a new environment? What was holding you back from the full potential?
I think that even myself, I still do not understand fully. It's probably maybe was something to humble me, because I'll tell you I was a proud person. A lot of people see me quiet. But I'm telling you, I was a different Isikah. I was a different Isikah. Maybe it was something to humble me. And also, I think because of that, there were, in every mix of people, you always have like 1 or 2 kids that are, poking you. And so I do remember at one point kind of being mocked a little bit that, oh, you came here, you're one of the people who had like highest scores in primary school, and we expect you to be here and you are not. And so I think that was part of me being humbled,
Yes.
you know. And I take it as a blessing because it kept me in check.
Yes.
From Isikah that I knew,
Yes.
the Isikah of then. But I also remember thinking in my head and saying, God, I know the potential you've given me. And so the only thing I want is, in that final exam, I want to emerge one of the best.
Yes.
And let it be proven that, you know, the Isikah, because I got saved when I was in MCF.
Yes.
So the God that I worship, let this place, all my classmates know that the God of Isikah is alive.
Yeah. Yeah, amen, amen.
And I will be through performing
Yes.
outstandingly,
Yes.
contrary to what they were expecting.
Yes.
And that's exactly what happened.
Wow.
I always was like in number 10, number 12. But in that case, when the results came,
Yes.
I was number 3 with a B+.
Wow.
A strong one.
Yes. Wow.
And that had a ripple effect to everybody. They were like, what?
That's awesome. Man.
Yeah, so that's another way I saw God.
That's awesome.
But anyway, let's go back now to the story.
Yes.
So there was MCF sent some kids in America to create awareness of the home.
Yes.
So MCF is short form for Muli Children's Family.
Yes.
And they went through different schools here in West Michigan, Hope College, Calvin College, Grand Valley, I don't know, Davenport, or they were touring high school colleges.
Yes.
And then when they were in Grand Valley, you are well into Grand Valley.
Absolutely.
Lakers.
Yes, go Lakers.
There was a professor there, a math professor,
Yes.
who turned out to be my host dad.
Yes.
He was impressed with what MCF was doing. And he asked my dad, how can I be part of this? And my dad was like, hey, I've always wanted my kids, some of them to come here and study in America. And so he was told, you can maybe take a challenge of looking for scholarships.
Yes.
And he took on that challenge. And so, but we were so many of us who had graduated.
Yes.
We were like more than 80 something people.
Yes.
We were like about like 82 of us.
Yes.
It was like two classes. The class that graduated before me and then our class. But they had to narrow down into just a group, because you can only get so many scholarships,
exactly.
right?
Yes.
So we went a process of interviewing and thorough interviewing and
Yes. Yes.
and so from 82, it was narrowed down to 16 people.
Wow.
Now, even in the 82, to me, I was like, I'm the least of this.
Yes.
There's no way. There are people who had come to MCF like a lot more years. Or some people who I thought they were maybe in a better place to be able to be selected than I. I felt like I was the least of this. And I'm just sharing from my honest place. I don't have any like hard feelings or anything. I'm just expressing now my emotion at that point. Yes. So it narrows from 82 to 16. And then, so then the 16 we started getting prepared for ASAT. Is it ASAT or something? Yeah.
Yes.
TOEFL, those exams. And some people went to take their exam. But another miracle that I can see is miraculous. I saw God.
Yes.
The schools that had given me a scholarship, they looked at my scores and they say, we don't need him to take this exam.
Wow.
We he did well. And I feel like maybe I was the only person who didn't do that exam. Or maybe, I'm not sure. But for me, they said they didn't require it.
Yes.
But anyway, from 16, it got narrowed down to 4.
Yes.
To 4 people.
Wow.
So it was like me, another brother, and 2 sisters.
Yes.
I don't know if I should mention them. I will just not mention their names because I don't have permission from them. But we were not the people to go to the embassy. So now we guys started getting prepared to get ready for coming here to America.
Yes.
So we went through, you have to be immunized on different like yellow fever and tetanus and all of that. So we went through that process. But also, we went through that process. But shortly before that, before I come to that, when I graduated, I actually spent a whole year volunteering in MCF. It was kind of a way of me to say thank you.
Give back, yes.
I wanted to mention that, so so at least I can, yeah. So we went through you go through different immunizations.
Yes.
They are very costly actually. I'm grateful to Dad that he was willing to take in the cost.
Awesome.
at the different stages, and you have to have those. And then you get given that yellow little book.
Yes.
You did have to do that, Chris?
I don't recall.
Yes.
Because my process was different because
it was
of
different,
my dad,
yeah.
you know?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, yeah. But anyway, also like we were computer illiterate.
Yes.
So I think the two girls were sent to school. Unfortunately, me and my brother, we didn't go to computer classes.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened. I think there was some arrangement and something happened that we didn't manage to go.
Yes.
And when I got like opportunity to go, it was like 2 weeks before I'm supposed to fly.
Yes.
So, but yeah, there's that like preparing, because we were coming to school, we needed to do a little bit of computer knowledge.
Yes.
But I thank one brother, I can't remember his name. Maybe I'll put maybe the name somewhere when I remember his name.
Yes.
While I was still in MCA, he told me how to type.
Yes.
Just to type.
Yes.
So I can type without looking at my whatever.
Awesome.
Credit to that brother.
Yes, awesome.
God bless him wherever he is. If I remember his name, I'll maybe mention it. But anyway, so the four of us are now ready, and we are booked for appointment to go to the embassy. And you know.
And that's for the interviews, right?
For the interviews at
Yes.
the U.S. embassy, yes. And we had to wake up early, 5 in the morning.
Yes.
You know, we don't want to be late.
Yes, exactly.
And it was amazing just to get there and see the number of people
Yes.
who were there.
Yeah.
A long queue of people. We went there, go through the process, checkpoint, and all of that, making the documents are all good.
Yeah.
And it was time to go, you know, to line up. And we were there. So it was, I don't know how we lined up, but what I know is out of the four, I was the one in the back
Yes.
of the line. And we were very nervous. We had been coached kind of how, you know, how maybe to answer some questions,
Yeah.
just so we are aware. And we were so nervous. And I remember my brothers and sisters, one of them saying, "Man, I'm really nervous, I cannot be in the front." And and I said, okay, I'll go first. So I did. They allowed me. I went in front of whoever was in the front, and so I went. So I did my interview, and then it went well because I'm here.
Yes.
So after the interview was done, you know, they asked all those questions they asked. I can't remember exactly what question they asked. And then he gave me a card. It was like a piece of paper. It was green in color, and it said, "Welcome to the United States."
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. You must have got on your knees and said, "Thank you,
Oh
Lord."
man, I was so excited. But
How did you feel? What was your feeling at that moment?
Oh man, it was a good feeling.
Yes.
But at the same time, I knew I had my brothers here who I
Yeah.
still have to be in the line. So now I was like, I got this. Now I'm just gonna wait for my brothers and my sister to get it, and then we are good.
Yes.
So I went to the waiting area and then they came back. But when they came back, unfortunately, they had like a pinkish looking,
Yes.
red looking piece of paper, and it was on denial.
Yeah.
So all three of them got denied for
Oh, wow.
visas. And they went back a couple of times and still got denied. What I never understood is they asked similar questions, the same questions.
Yes.
We had probably the same answers because we are coming from the same dad,
Yes.
the same support system,
Yes.
and go to the same Midwest for school. So they never made sense to me. And actually,
I was going to ask you.
Yes.
So, at the time of this interview, you said that you were in the back of the line,
yes,
and all of a sudden, the person who was first
yes,
said they were too nervous to go first,
yes,
and then you said, "Okay, I'll go first."
yes.
Do you think that was something divine or orchestrated by God
Right.
for you to be there
Yes.
at the right time, the right moment to be up in the front? Do you think that it was orchestrated by God?
You know, I've wrestled with that question.
Yes.
Because God loves us all.
Yes.
He loves me, he loves my brothers as well. And I've wrestled with that question, actually, which is a really good question. And what I can say, honestly, I don't know.
Yes.
But what I know is God gave me the courage to say that, yeah, I can do it. I'll go first.
Yes.
You know? Everything that happens, for sure, it never happens by mistake.
Yes,
It's by God's divine purpose. I do believe, so with that I can say, yes, it was for divine purpose. Now the question is, if I went in just as the last person,
Yes.
Will I have still gotten it?
Yeah.
I do not know.
Now, Isikah.
Yes.
I just want you to elaborate on your journey coming to America, as in what were your feelings as you got to the airport?
Yeah.
Who brought you to the airport? Did you travel with anybody you knew?
Right.
Explain your experience.
Yeah, it was, I would say it was mixed feelings.
Yeah.
Being the first time. It was actually probably the first time at the airport, you know.
Yes.
So, and I was scared of planes too, but I wanted to be in one at the same time. So, but my dad came with me, like he cleared his schedule. He traveled with me from Kenya all the way to the United States, here in Grand Rapids, Michigan. But I remember, like, when we got to we were at the airport, and I believe it was still either Nairobi or Amsterdam, but I just remember going to the restrooms.
Yes.
And wash my hands, but I didn't know how to dry them. Yes. Normally, like, we don't really use those paper towels like to dry our hands. So it was like, oh, this is what you do.
Yeah.
You take the strip of paper here, and then you wipe your hands, and this is where you throw it.
Yes.
So my dad, he was my teacher along the way, showing me all these things that I didn't know. For a lot of Americans, that's like, dang, you didn't know that. Yeah. But really, like in the village, you wash your hands, and you leave. Like there's no drying it, you know.
Or you just go like this.
Yeah, you go like this and you are done, you know.
Exactly.
But anyway, you know, sometimes home water is limited. But even where there's plenty of water, people normally probably don't dry their hands.
Yes.
Yeah.
You must have been interested in a plane. Could you share a little bit about that? You know, different time zones, people serving you food.
I know, yeah. First of all, like just like getting to the plane, I'm glad they have those tunnels.
Yes.
That I just found myself on inside a plane. Yes. You know, and like your story, like I didn't know I was on the plane until like, okay, it's about like to start moving. That's when I'm actually inside a plane.
Yes.
So it took me a while for that to sink in.
Yes.
But just being out there in the sky, and just like in the same case, just looking down and see just how far you are.
Yes.
There's that nervousness that comes in.
Exactly.
But also just being able to see as far as you can. Yeah. And the houses and all of that. And there's some level of beauty mixed with the scariness. Yes. You know, you are thinking the first time, oh, what if like something happens?
Yes. Exactly.
In this plane, you're gonna go all the way down there, but at the same time, you're amazed of what you are seeing. Exactly. Just seeing the land from above.
Exactly.
So
now, let me ask you this: did it create an image in your mind that it's like you're living Egypt and going to the promised land? What was running through your mind as you left your home country? Yes. To come to America? Were you afraid of what lies ahead? Right. Are you excited because of stories you've heard about America? Right. What was running in your head?
I think I knew I was a savior of my family. Yes. So me, I was going to Canaan. Yes. You know, I was go to the land of honey. Yes. And bread. Yeah. You know? Milk. And because of milk, yes. And because of that, I had made a lot of promises before leaving Kenya. I had told my music, the guy was teaching me guitar. I'll make sure I buy a whole set of equipment. I told him I'll make sure you have your own band. Yes. Fully equipped. There's like people I had promised I'll build houses for them. Yes. I'll take their kids to school. Yes. They'll never have to suffer again. You know?
So did you feel like that was what America was about? You come here and all opportunities are here and you get a ton of money? Yes. And, can you say about that?
Yeah. Really, I was like thinking that like there's plenty of money. Yes. Money is not scarce. Yes. And I was also actually thinking that I'm going out to interact with Wazungus Bizuri. Yes. You see? Yes. And you know, some Wazungus in Kenya, they seem generous. So in our mindset in Kenya, we think they are generous. Yes. So you come here, so I'm thinking that when I get there now, I'll be interacting with them, they'll be giving me money. Yes. So one of my source of incomes was the Americans. Yes. Especially the white ones, they're giving me money. Yes. Because they give. Yes. Little did I know, you know, you have to work for it. Yes. And there's nobody who's just going to hide you money.
Exactly.
You know? So
that's interesting.
I was. At Moli, we interact with a lot of Wazungus. and they're very nice.
Yes.
Very nice people.
Yes.
But you come to America, it's different.
It's different.
Just a society, everybody is just trying to make it in life.
Exactly.
And some of those wealthy people that maybe I interact with them in Kenya at MCF, they're just not accessible as much.
Yes.
They live in their own rich neighborhoods, and you're here. So it's different.
Yes.
It's different. I'm not saying that they're isolated. They still contribute a lot to the society.
Yes. Yes. Now, I think we're gonna jump into our first experiences here in America.
Yes.
And I would want you to start off by what season did you arrive in America? Was it in the summer? Was it in the winter?
Right.
Was it in the fall? Like, what did you see? How did you feel when you took a step in the American soil?
It was in the fall,
yes,
August, because I was coming to join college.
Yes.
So I was studying in the fall semester. So it was still warm. But again, like just seeing, it was a surprise. Because like, it's just another land, just like Africa.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
the streets look slightly different, but it's the same.
Yes.
You know, just people walking around.
Yes.
So I think I viewed it in a different way, but also like I also saw the difference.
Yes.
On like so many cars, people driving really fast in highways.
Yes.
But I came here in the fall, but it definitely was a surprise in a lot of ways.
Was there a culture shock? What was your first meal when you got here? Where did you go? Who did you meet?
Right.
Can you share about that?
So when we landed here, we were welcomed by my host, the same professor who, his name is John Hodge, who helped me come here with the arrangements, him coming here to interview us and all of that. So he's the one who received us with his family and some extended family as well.
Yes.
Right now he's in Texas and he still has a family here in Holland. But they're the ones who received me. And, after that, we went to his house. That's where I spent the night.
Yeah.
And then they helped me get ready for college. We went shopping. My Osman here will have like really funny stories.
We can't wait to hear them.
Yes. She will have to tell some of these stories about me. I think she does it better than I. But I think of it, I just laugh.
What was like? What did you have for food? Your first
for
meal
food?
here?
I can't remember the exact food, but most likely it was like burgers.
Yeah, burgers.
Yes, yes.
Welcome to the land of the burgers.
I know, right?
Yes. Did you have also trouble sleeping, or like was it like you know how your body tries to adjust?
Yes, yes.
Did you have that?
Yes, there was like a lot of like jet lag for sure.
Yes.
And I think it's worse when you're coming from Kenya to America than from America to Kenya. So jet lag was a real thing for a couple of days.
Yes.
For a couple of days, but I had enough time to rest.
Yes. And what was your thought process? As in, like, now I'm here. Now I've got to the host family, the home. What was your thought? What was running through your mind? As it like?
Yes.
Were you just kind of excited to start off? Like, were you excited to see things?
Right.
What was in your mind?
I think when I got here, I realized I have so much to learn.
Yes.
And at the same time, I have to get ready for school.
Yes.
Right. And I only have a span of maybe 2 weeks before I start my school. And I didn't know how to use like laundry machines. I didn't know how to use, even like you go to the shower.
Yes.
It's just complicated. How do you turn the shower on, right?
Yes.
And how do you turn it off? And then every time you go to a different house, the process is different.
It's different, yeah.
Right?
Yes.
I struggled with that.
Yes.
There was so much to learn, so much to catch up on.
Yeah.
And it got me feeling a little bit nervous.
Yes.
And even now, the way of socializing is so different.
Different, yes.
Compared to Kenya,
Yes.
where the society seems more individualistic. In Kenya, it's more communal.
Yeah.
And so just started to grasp on how do I build friendships, relationships. It was difficult.
Yes.
It was difficult.
Now, I assume in Kenya, you learned English,
yes.
right? So it wasn't as bad as when it came to language barrier. You kind of understood. So was that like helpful during when you went to school, during your college career?
Honestly, even with my English, You know, I'm a boy coming from the village. The accent was thick, and it still is.
Yes.
And so it was very difficult for people to understand what I was saying. And it was also, for me, it was so difficult to understand what they are saying.
Now, was that frustrating?
Just to a good degree, yes. And then I also realized, oh man, Americans speak actually loud.
Yes.
And when I was speaking, I was really quiet and really quiet.
Yes.
And then I'll be like, oh, speak up, you know? Like, we can't hear you, right? And so I had to make those adjustments. Some things I never even thought about.
Yes.
But the accent, hey, man, it was ilikuwa ngumu. And you know, when we talk about accents, you know, for me, if I was in direction in Kenya, it would just be another.
Exactly.
So I tried really to learn as quickly as possible, even to hear what my professors are saying.
Yes.
But also it got very difficult to ask a question in class because it was difficult for a lot of professors to understand what I'm saying.
Yes.
It was also difficult to interact with the students because also of sometimes the same thing. Even asking a question, different terms are being used to describe something that we used to call something different. It's now comes to like English versus American English. And those would be like pants and versus trousers.
Trousers,
things like that. But before we get too far away, maybe we can switch back to you and also like at what season do you come in the winter?
I came in the winter.
Oh man.
I came in the winter. You know, back then, well, September, I don't know if it's considered winter.
Yes.
But it was really cold.
Yeah.
And I remember the first time I saw snow.
Yes.
You know, I was young.
Yeah.
You know, I was happy. I used to see snow on pictures that my dad used to bring us to show us.
Yes.
And I remember vividly telling my dad, when you come to Kenya, please don't forget to put snow in a bottle. Bring it to Kenya for me.
Yes.
And you know, when he used to come, I used to wonder, why did he not bring my snow?
Right.
Because I wanted to see it up close, you know.
Yes.
And the only time I used to see snow when I was in Karimoilo, the boarding school.
Yes.
We used to see it on Mount Kilimanjaro. And I used to be so fascinated by the snow.
Yes.
When I came here and I was able to touch it, I was able to feel it, it was cold. And I fell on the snow and I was doing, I think they call them snow angels.
Yeah, snow angels,
and I was really excited. But also I was signed up for classes.
Yes.
I went to a local middle school, Crestwood Middle School.
Yes.
And I was welcomed by some, we call it English second language classes. Some teachers, I still remember the names of the teachers.
Yes.
And they were able to help me navigate through my middle school career. I remember that, you know, back in Kenya, when I was in a boarding school, my focus was not there.
Yes.
Because, of course, you're thinking about too many things. I need to go to my parents. Where are my parents? I'm thinking about my parents. I'm thinking about my siblings.
Yes.
Now we're going to be united. So my focus was not there.
Yeah.
When I came here, now I started getting a little bit more focused because I was around family.
Yes.
There's not a boarding school. You get out of school at around 3 o'clock. You're at home.
Yes. Yeah.
Get in class around 7:30 a.m. So I was around family, and it was so good to be all together.
Yes.
Because in Kenya, that was not the case.
Yeah, exactly.
My mom was in Kenya. My dad was here. My mom joined. So it was a lot of like people being in different places.
Yes.
But it was finally you know, a good thing to be in the same house.
Yes.
To eat the same food. To talk. You know, it was a very beautiful thing.
Yeah, yeah. Just all of you being like.
Just all of us being in one house.
In one house, finally.
Exactly.
Man. Yeah.
And my middle school, you know, education was, I was scared. Yes. Because, you know, I remember one day, you know, you're trying to maneuver through, you know, through the classes, and you get you score a really bad grade. Yes. Because you don't understand the system. Yes. And then you're thinking, that's it. The teacher's going to come with a cane. Yes. And it's going to give me a spanking. Because that happened in Kenya a lot.
It happens in Kenya. Yes. So, all the time.
So I remember I was nervous to go to school the next day.
Yes.
I was there. The teacher brought me the grades. Yes. They put them in. Say, Chris, I'm going to help you. We're going to walk through this together. Yes. And I was surprised
Yes.
that I did not get a spanking that day.
Yeah,
I thought
yeah.
maybe she's saving it for another day.
Right.
Yeah, but you definitely see the differences between schools.
Yes.
You see the differences between what the students put on in school, because
Yes.
everybody wore their different outfits.
Yes, yeah.
There's no uniform.
There's
you
no,
come
yes.
just the way you are.
Actually, that's true,
Yeah,
yeah.
so, and then you get to have different kind of breakfasts.
Yes.
You know, the lunches, you know, it's different, you know.
Yes.
You're eating something you've never ate before.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
You're drinking something you never drank
You've never,
before.
yeah.
You have A lunch, B lunch, so you're trying to navigate through
Yes.
all this.
Yeah.
You don't know where your class is at. They always are so big. You know, you
Yes.
have to ask.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of maneuvering, but eventually with those teachers, English second language teachers, which we give a lot of credit to, because
Yes.
without them, we wouldn't know how to navigate the schools,
Right.
navigate through our education.
Yes.
So they stood with us, you know.
Yeah. No, and then, so here, like, you know, did you guys walk to school? Like, your parents drove you to school, or there was a school bus?
There was a school bus,
Yes.
but the place where we lived
Yes.
and the school, you could walk in, it was like literally less than a minute.
Yes.
Yeah, the school
was bothering the school.
Yeah, yeah. The schools were here, the apartments were here.
Yes.
So we didn't have to take the bus. We
Okay,
could have, but
yeah.
the bus would just go around and stop.
And
But
stop,
Yeah,
yes.
there was a shortcut.
Yeah.
You know, we just go through there.
Yeah.
So I didn't have to go to a school bus.
Yeah.
I didn't have to get dropped. It was easy like that.
It was
just walk
easy,
to
yeah.
school. Yes.
That was really nice for your parents, actually,
Yes,
because
it
they did
is.
have, because like one of the main things for parents here is having to make those arrangements, how their kids will get to school
Yes.
every single morning,
Exactly.
like for the majority of the year.
Yes.
And just being that close, like that took a lot out of your parents,
Exactly.
and they can focus on other things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It made it easier for them for sure.
And then take me through your experience in high school, your interaction with other students, especially you being new, and just how did it look like?
My interaction is nice. So I went to a high school called East Kentwood High School.
Yes.
A very diverse school.
Very diverse,
Yeah, people from all walks of life
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I got there and I was called a freshman.
Yes.
And I was like, how did these guys know I'm fresh from Africa?
Yes.
But
Oh, I get the joke. I get
yes,
it.
but that was like, that's a term that it refers to a student there's a freshman campus.
Yes.
Where these are new students.
Yeah.
So they're there. But in my head, I didn't know they meant that.
Yes.
Yeah, so same story. I joined English second language classes.
Yes.
Met a very wonderful lady,
Yes.
my teacher. I don't know if I should mention her name, but she was she was really kind. She took us in. We had
Yes.
students from Rwanda, we had students from Tanzania,
Yeah.
students from Kenya,
Yeah.
students from Asia, students just from all different walks of life.
Yes.
And what I noticed about these teachers is that they're so patient.
Yes.
Because imagine having a class, trying to teach a class full of immigrants,
Yes.
and majority don't know the English here. And that was you have to be really patient.
Yes. You have to be a really
you have to
patient.
be really
It's like it has to be a calling or something.
Exactly. It's basically a calling.
Yeah.
So I went through that, and then they saw that my English was good, because in Kenya we learned English.
Yes.
And then so they promoted me
Yes.
to now regular classes.
Mm.
And when I joined the regular classes, that's when I started knowing a lot of things
Yes.
about America, about high school.
Yeah.
Because when you are in the ESL classes, you guys are only talking about
Right.
your countries.
Yes.
But now I'm being exposed to American students.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
so American conversations.
Yes.
So that's when I learned a lot of things that I
Mm-hmm.
never knew.
Yes.
Never knew.
Yes. And there's was, I think, stories you have shared about you and your mom.
Yes.
Well, especially when it comes to dressing.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
If you don't mind sharing.
Yes. So I think a part of this podcast is to educate fellow youth
Yes.
that, our fellow immigrant youth, that high school is not just a walk in the park.
Yes.
You're going to make it there, and you're going to meet different people from all walks of life.
Yes.
They're going to talk different.
Yeah.
They're going to dress different.
Different, yeah.
And now you're trying to come in, trying to fit in with a group.
Yes.
and it's really, really hard.
Yes.
So I remember when my mom used to buy me some outfits.
Yes.
You know, and my mom would tell me, I love my mom. I love my mom. She used to buy me outfits.
Yes.
And they looked so good.
Yes.
You know, they were South Pole outfit.
Yes.
You know, shirt, pants to match. And she'll buy me FUBU shoes. And I'll go to high school and I think I'm the freshest kid
yes. And you
in the high school.
Yes.
And I've walked with confidence.
Yes.
With my chest up, you know. And then all of a sudden I see students pointing.
Yes.
Look at that guy. Look at that guy.
Yes.
And I see them giggling and laughing. And I see them pointing at my shoes. I'm like, what's wrong with my shoes? These are the best shoes in this high school. So came to find out that if you're not wearing Nike,
yes,
if you're not wearing Adidas,
yes,
you know, if you're not wearing the name brands,
yes,
you're gonna be made fun of.
Yeah.
And you know, and that affects us as students.
Yes.
It affects us as immigrants, as a new person trying to fit in.
Yeah.
And I found myself going at home and telling my mom, you're not gonna buy me these shoes again.
Yes.
Sorry, Mom. Yes. So I found me telling my mom that I don't want these shoes.
Yes.
I don't want to wear South Pole outfits.
Yeah.
I want Nike. I don't want to shop at Goodwill.
Yes.
I don't want to shop at Salvation Army.
Yeah.
I want the brand new stuff. And I remember a dear friend of mine, you know, we lived in the same neighborhood.
Yes.
God rest his soul. He saw me sad one day. And he was like, what's wrong, brother? He was very young. He was younger than me.
Yeah.
At that time, I think he was about 9 years old. And I told him, hey, you know, man, they're laughing at these shoes.
Yes.
And then he looked at the shoes. Oh, yeah, it's because it's FUBU.
Yes.
Now, let me tell you, there's nothing wrong with FUBU, but it's just high school.
Yes, right.
So he ended up going to his house, sneaking a pair of his sister's shoes, which are Nike, brought them to me, say, wear these.
Yes, wow.
And I put them on, and the next day,
yes,
I was the coolest kid in school. People were like, where did you get those? These are such nice shoes.
Yes.
Wow. Hey, you are cool, dude.
Yes.
So that kind of felt good. So now my whole high school career revolved around trying to fit in.
To fit in, yes.
It was a lot of peer pressure.
Yes, I can imagine.
Yeah. So high school was definitely, the journey was a bit tough.
Yes.
And you know, it's not as easy.
Yes.
These things you go through in high school, you don't come and tell your parents, hey, Dad, by the way, I'm getting bullied in school.
Right.
So students are quiet.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, my advice or my encouragement to parents is that just go talk to your child. You know, when you see your child go from school, come home, go to his room, lock the door, go check up on that child, because there's something that happened in school. So don't just be cool with your kids. Kind of like open up to them. Yes. You know, tell them they can trust you. Go on walks. Hear what they have to tell them. Because I went through high school. I telling my parents until one day enough was enough. I went and told my mom, "Don't buy me these shoes." And I'm pretty sure she was surprised. Where did that come from?
Right.
You know. So there's a lot of bullying in high school. Yes. Because and the peer pressure can even cause students to commit suicide if it goes unchecked. So it is important. So I'm glad I had parents who listened to me. You know, who gave me encouragement. And even friends. I ended up making friends. You know, who told me, it's okay. You know. That kind of made my high school education it made it just chill. You know.
Right.
I'm trying to use the lingo the high school I used, but it made it bearable. Yes. And I was able to complete that and go off to college. Right. Yeah, but in college, nobody really cares about what you got
cares
on.
about what you're wearing and all of that.
So middle school and high school, it's definitely a lot of peer pressure. Yes. On how you dress. On how you talk. I remember students asking me, do I make click sounds when I talk?
Like the croissant.
Yeah, the croissant. Yeah. Because they have this wild imagination that everybody in Africa speaks croissant. I also had people telling me if I ride on lions. And those kind of questions really got to me. Yes. How can I ride on a lion?
Right, exactly.
Yes. So definitely high school, there's a lot of peer pressure and there's a lot of bullying.
Yes.
In terms of what the other students say to you.
Yes.
On how you dress, on how you talk, your
Yeah.
accent.
Yeah.
So it's good to take courage and be proud
Yes.
of where you're from.
Yeah.
Because you have an identity, to say, hey, I'm proud to be a Kenyan.
Yes.
This is my accent.
Yeah.
This is the way we dress.
Yes.
This is the way we walk.
Yeah.
This is the way we talk.
Yeah.
So at that moment when you have that identity, you don't have to worry.
Yes, you don't have to
what
worry.
anybody
Yes.
says about you. Yes.
And it's it brings the diversity that maybe is needed.
Yes.
In my neighborhood, there's a kid from Pakistan. He comes around riding his bike. Doesn't know English, but very friendly.
Yes.
He come dressed like in Pakistan clothes, and I'm like, this is beautiful.
Yes.
Like this is really beautiful. And I think he's trying to pick up on English.
Yes.
And he's so friendly. He just loves wearing his Pakistani attire.
Yes.
And it's really beautiful.
Yes.
So I think I totally agree with you on that.
And I think the parents are probably encourage him.
Yes.
Yeah, because even when you talk about other cultures,
Yes.
I had friends who would come to school smelling like food.
Yes.
Because we use a lot of spices.
Yes.
And and to me, it was a good aroma because it's like food. But to the American kids who are here, it's like you hear words like, "Oh man, you stink."
Yeah. Yeah.
And you could see the demeanor of that person's face change completely because they were being bullied.
Yes.
And sometimes they'll laugh it off, trying to act.
Right.
But I know deep inside they were hurt.
They were hurt,
because I went through the same thing. It hurt.
Yeah.
So I know for sure.
Yes.
That my fellow brothers who are going through the same situation hurt too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So high school is not as easy as they made it seem. At least the day-to-day, routines. They were not easy because you get laughed.
Yes.
For about everything.
Yeah. Personally, I'm glad I didn't have to go to high school here in America. I have to admit. I'm pretty sure it could have had its own benefits.
Yes.
Because I'm pretty sure by the time you went to college, you had computer knowledge, a lot of it.
Yeah.
Unlike me, when I started my college, I knew how to type, but that's about it.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to copy paste. And I'm going to do engineering. Yeah. And in engineering, there you are going at some point you're going to do programming. You have to use computer. You cannot even like in a computer design class you're using computer. In programming class you're using computer. So if you don't know even how to paste, copy and paste, it gets quite hard.
Exactly.
But so that's I think one of the benefits of actually starting high school here. You can start getting introduced into the basics, a lot of basics that you need.
Yes.
And I know we are also in different times. There's a lot of people also in Kenya now who they're in high school and they are so good with computers and all of that. But I didn't have access. But this is for somebody who may be coming from the village who still doesn't have access to that. It's just important to learn computer before coming to America. And I think people who come in high school, even they have a better opportunity to get ready to be prepared for college.
Exactly.
Because that was my hardest part.
Yes.
And it affects the grade.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, it
now,
does.
Let me ask you, did your school offer, because I know some schools are good with offering tutoring or offer like resources to help you build your computer skills?
I went to Hope College. They do. The problem is this. You can go to those tutor, but the face, the speed at which everything is hitting you, all the classes, all the everything is due.
Yes.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
And at the same time trying to learn.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's just
it's gotta be tough.
It's tough. It's tough. So and I feel like that's why I feel like the Kenyan system is a little bit more forgiving.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of following this. I mean, they still follow syllabus here, but I feel like it's a little bit slow.
Yes.
It's a little bit slow.
Yeah.
And it's easier to catch up. I find it really difficult to learn. I still had to learn. Yeah. And I'm really good at a computer right now. But in the beginning, it was hectic.
Yes. So we've got to the end of conversation.
Yes.
I think we've had a productive conversation.
Yeah.
I've got to know more about Isikah. You've got to know more about me. And as time goes on, you'll get to know us even more.
Yeah.
And we'll get to share more stories about ourselves. But that was just a condensed story about how we came to the United States and our experiences through our journey here.
Yeah.
And I hope you enjoyed yourself, and I hope you enjoyed listening.
Yeah.
And Isikah?
Yeah, I mean, we have a lot to share.
Yep.
I think we have more that we could share.
Yep.
But I think that we'll have more time in the future to be able even to share more.
Yep.
And we also know a lot of friends that have amazing stories.
Exactly.
We'll bring people on board sometime and just come and also hear their stories, their experiences.
Absolutely.
So we can have as much of diverse experiences shared as possible, and to try to reach as many people as possible. But it was just amazing just hearing your story, Chris.
Yes.
And
Likewise.
and you know, and just learning from it, and getting to know you more.
Yep.
You know.
Absolutely.
So thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Likewise. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
And we hope to see you guys soon.
Yes, and please go like our videos.
Share it.
Share it.
Subscribe.
Subscribe, exactly. We are in most of the social media. We are on YouTube. We are on TikTok, Instagram. If you go there, Msafiri_DDP. DDP is for Diaspora Dialogues Podcast. You should be able to find us. So if you look for on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, Safiri DDP_DDP, you should be able to find us. We are also on Facebook. We have a Facebook page, the same, Msafiri DDP. Guys, like and subscribe so this information can reach many people.
Exactly.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
thank you, guys.
show us love.
See you soon.